Kia ora koutou. It's my pleasure to invite you, to welcome you today to this webinar for TENS with Sarah Cooper and Katie Prokop from Code Avengers. So we're really, really fortunate to have them here. And before I do my intro, we will just welcome everyone with our karakia. Māori ora kia mātou, ahena mai mātou, ke e mātou mahi, ki mihia e hoarahi mō te kaupapa, o te mātauranga hangarau, awhenini atou, awhenini mai, te pau o here nei e ari mātou, hui e taiki e. Oops, sorry. I was going to do a long introduction for Sarah and Katie, but in previous webinars, I think it's more natural if they just do a quick spiel about themselves to introduce who they are, so you can hear it from their voice about how lucky we are to have them as speakers today. So I'll turn it over to you both, and thank you so much for sharing your time with our teachers.
Hey, Carrie. Tēnā koutou katoa, ko Luxmore te manga, ko Ten te awa, no Ingarangi o Kutipuna, ke te noho o ke te ano, ko Sarah Cooper toku ingoa, no rere tēnā koutou katoa. So hi everybody and welcome, it's lovely to be here. So my name is Sarah and I'm a senior content developer at Code Avengers. I've been working here for about 7 years. And if you do ever visit our site and visit the junior library, I've written quite a lot of the courses on there. So just give a little bit about my background. It's getting scary now, but I've actually been involved in IT for about a quarter of a century now. My very first job was training adults on how to use Windows, and when all the sort of Windows and mice were introduced. So yeah, I go back a long way. And yeah, I sort of decided to teaching was my passion and trained as a teacher, and that was in the UK. And then in 2007, I moved over to New Zealand, to Wellington originally. And I had several years there, which I enjoyed at a large college, being the head of digital technologies and the sort of e-learning leader as well. And then we decided to relocate our family down south. As you can see, I live down in Te Anau now. And I enjoy, all that the sort of outdoor lifestyle it has to offer down here. As you can see, my hobbies on there, like mountain biking, tramping and snowboarding. And I'm here today really because I just really enjoy helping people sort of stay up to date with all the latest things happening. And yeah, we sort of felt that AI was something that sort of, has really exploded in recent years, and we wanted to share a little bit more with you. Okay, I'll pass over to Katie.
Kia ora. I'm actually hearing myself currently for some reason, so I'm just going to ignore that. All right, so ko Katie Prokop toku ingoa. I'm a content developer here at Code Avengers. I've been building learning resources and including some of the courses on the platform, as well as 40-hour year plans, which I'll tell you a little bit more about later, and a bit of PLD content. As Sarah said, it does sneak up on you. I've been teaching for 10 years now, which to me was a bit of a shock because I don't know, I was used to being the young one. But I trained and taught as a primary school teacher in New Zealand, mostly in Nelson, and moved up to Auckland and focused on year 7 to year 10. And that's really where I got into tech. I actually taught a little bit of hard materials there, which was wild. But then, got into technology. And so when I came back to Nelson, I realized, I'd spent a lot of my career working with children and was really interested in how adults learn, so built some online courses for Te Pūkenga. And that kind of led me to doing a little bit more in the tech space with Code Avengers. Yeah, I live in Nelson. I love rock climbing and playing video games and gardening and walking my dog. It's a very chill area up here. And I'm more than happy for you to contact me regarding any of our courses or resources or anything that kind of piques your interest here today. So, a quick outline for our workshop today. We're going to start out looking at the curriculum links that are relevant to the AI resources and materials that Sarah is going to share with you today. We are going to look at sort of modern digital devices and how they can impact our daily lives. I'm going to talk about the input, process, output of AI and what that looks like in different industries. Sarah's going to demonstrate a really cool machine learning tool that you can use to teach a bit of AI in your classroom. And then we have a couple of resources that we're quite proud of and would like to show you from Code Avengers. So we are focusing on Progress Outcome 2, designing and developing digital outcomes. So there it is sitting in the technology curriculum. I'm sure you're all very, very familiar with it, but what we're looking at today will probably fit best in the upper primary. However, it can be differentiated quite well to really suit anything, any ages above a particular, probably above the upper primary. So we've just sort of broken up some of and wanted to unpack a few of these terms in the DDD 3DO progress outcome. So a couple of the things that we wanted to pull out was authentic context. So authenticity in digital literacy means engaging in real world tasks. And, you know, what's more real than AI at the moment? You know, all of our students are using ChatGPT, whether we like it or not. And kind of exploring that and exploring the ethical sort of stuff behind that as well is really engaging for our students. We'll also be looking at, you know, that digital devices impact and, you know, they have a profound impact on individuals and society. And, you know, there's positive and negatives. I think often we can be skewed one side, but as teachers, it's definitely our responsibility to kind of show both sides and kind of, yeah, use some of those deeper prompting questions. And change over time is a really important aspect of that as well. So digital technology is ever evolving, and we couldn't possibly hope to cover every single thing that happens as it happens. But if we kind of look at what was happening in the past and where that's going, then students are able to adapt a bit better to the changing tools and applications and the trends of technology. And last but not least, input, process, output is something that I'm going to be talking about a little bit later. But it's about how the information flows within digital systems, including components and processes and our human control aspect of that control role and what that means. So I will just pass over to Sarah now.
Lovely. Thank you, Katie. So yeah, as Katie was saying, things, you know, they're constantly sort of changing. So as I mentioned earlier about, you know, I've worked in the IT industry, then I sort of came into teaching early part of the century. I think it was, I was training around 2004, 2005. Schools were a very sort of different place then. Like it wasn't common for students to have cell phones. I mean, they weren't really that cool then. They, you know, they don't do what they do now. And yeah, people were, you know, the broadband was still sort of in its infancy, and people were, you know, generally sort of accessing the internet, just sat at sort of a, you know, big PC and yeah, doing it over dial-up, which was sort of pretty slow. So it was a very, very different experience earlier on then. And yeah, if you sort of start to think, you probably, things just start appearing in your house and your workplaces, and you don't really even notice. But if you actually stop and think back, say the last 20 years, that like what devices have kind of appeared. Because, for example, like the iPod, that was actually first sold in 2001. Yeah, have a little think about the devices that have sort of appeared in the last 20 years, and have a think about like how can you how have they impacted your lives, in a positive way, what's good about them, or a negative? Have there been some things that aren't so good? So just hopefully in the chats there should be, we've shared with you a Padlet link. So just if you just got to take a second there just to go onto the Padlet and yeah, just share some of your thoughts with us. Okay, so just to share some with you, this is just a list that I came up with earlier. These are just some things I sort of thought that have sort of appeared in my household, or just around, so I know other people have got. And if I just click here, these are ones that I'm just going to tick the ones that actually we have in our household, and just run you through some of the things that, the benefits and negatives that I can see. So like the Kindle, like I love my Kindle. I love reading, and yeah, I love the fact that it's very portable, and I can take it take it away on holiday, and I've got like heaps of books. So generally I don't have any negatives about the Kindle, apart from probably I stay up too late. Sorry, Katie, can you see the slideshow? Yes.
Yes,
okay.
we can see the slideshow. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm just checking. Someone's just say they can't see the slideshow. So, okay. So yeah. So the devices, yeah. So carried on with the ones that I do check. No, smartphones. Yeah, obviously. They're great. I mean, I don't have to go to the bank now. I can do all my banking online. There's so much stuff that I can do, saves me time and so on. But some of the sort of issues are, that kind of we're always on all the time, like we're always available. So that can sort of be a negative, that we can't switch off. Smartwatches. My husband's really got into running now, and he loves sort of sharing all his runs with everyone. Personally, I can't see any negatives with that, because my husband's getting fit, so that's great. Yep. Tablets. Yeah, we sort of got an iPad, which the kids enjoy using. Chromecasts. So yep, the Chromecasts are great. We can sort of stream, sort of cast different sort of shows to our different screens. A microbit. Yeah, I do have those. I go in and show them in class, and they're cool. Kids love those. Wireless headphones. I mean, my kids really love it because they put their headphones on and they're away in their own little world. But yeah, I do find myself constantly kind of like calling my kids' names and trying to get their attention. So I'd say sometimes maybe some of the negatives are that maybe it's making people more isolated. It's kind of great. You can go off and watch what you want to watch, but maybe it's personalized for you, but then maybe it's not sort of conducive so much for family life. And as a family, we do try and sit together and watch some TV programs together. And just some other ones is some drones. My son has a drone. Okay, so what I want to sort of come to here really is, it's not really the devices that's important. It's not so much the size and the plastic and what they're made of. But what's really important is what's inside the plastic. So like the actual artificial intelligence, and also what's going on around us. Because again, it's like the artificial intelligence, that's been programmed inside the device can't work without all the infrastructure. So take something like this, is like an Alexa, Echo, whatever one you might have at home. It's got, several different types of artificial intelligence. So yeah, automatic speech recognition. This has been a huge thing that's developed lately. So that can sort of convert your spoken words into text. And then natural language processing, that actually enables a device to understand what we mean by the words. And that's ChatGPT works in a sort of similar way. It can actually understand words as well. And machine learning, which I'm going to talk about as well, like with all the data that's coming in, all the requests and all the things that you ask your Echo or whatever to do. The sort of algorithms help it become better at responding over time. And the other important things to consider is like none of these things would be possible without all the sort of the backbone, the infrastructure that's there. So other things that have sort of happened, 20 years ago, you probably had never heard of like cloud computing. So now we have like all these servers that, they're very fast and powerful. They can process all this sort of data and information. A lot of these devices, they're portable, and the only reason they're portable is because of Wi-Fi and Bluetooth connectivity. And Internet of Things as well. It's been a huge thing where like everything's kind of like, your smartphones, that everything's sort of integrating together, allowing you to share data and pass it around. So just to let you know, we do have several courses on the Code Avengers platform that you can access to learn about these different things. We have one called Security Siege, which is quite sort of interesting. It's all about sort of authentication, but we actually have a sort of side activity about biometrics, which relies heavily on AI. We also have a really fun course called Old MacDonald Hacked a Farm, AI drones. And then you can learn about AI in the context of farms and sort of agriculture. And as we say, data is a huge part how these devices can work. We have a whole course about big data. And then our new course that's just coming out is called Silicon Synapses, and we're going to share some really cool videos from that today. And that's actually, we've entered it for Hour of Code, so it's going to be completely free. And the Computer Science Week, if you're not aware of that, that's when they sort of run the Hour of Code event. That's that will be available and be promoted then. And as I say, we have some other ones about infrastructure. If you want to learn more about cloud computing or sort of how Wi-Fi and so on works, we have a digital infrastructure course as well. So now I'm going to play a video. Hopefully it will play. If it's at all laggy, if you check the chat, there should hopefully be some video links in there. So you can always watch the video just straight from YouTube yourself. And then after that, I'll be passing over to Katie.
When you imagine a day powered by artificial intelligence, you may think of autonomous systems that you can physically see, such as robot helpers, self-driving cars, and drone food deliveries. Once a futuristic science fiction dream, AI is now embedded in every part of our lives, from our homes to our workplaces, from agriculture to healthcare. When you're writing a message to a friend, and your phone suggests the perfect emoji, or finishes your sentences, that's AI in action. It learns from how you type, and predicts what you'll say next. AI is the invisible force that shapes the content you see on social media. It analyzes what you like, and recommends more engaging content, like funny videos or your favorite music. Many people love video games, and AI loves them too. Game developers use AI to create smarter opponents, so you can face epic battles and challenging quests. Voice-activated assistants like Siri, Alexa, or Google Assistant use speech recognition AI to understand what you're saying and offer information or perform actions in response. There are also many AI tools that convert text to speech, or speech to text. All of these tools can help support people with disabilities too. Let's not forget generative AI. This is artificial intelligence that can write stories, songs, essays, and create works of art. AI learns by gathering large amounts of data and identifying patterns. It's like having a brain that grows smarter over time, just like ours do. But remember, with great power comes great responsibility. We need to make sure AI is used ethically and responsibly, protecting privacy and treating everyone fairly. Some people worry about AI replacing us, but seeing it as empowering us is better. It's about making our everyday lives safer, more efficient, and better connected. When you imagine a day powered by artificial intelligence,
Right, sorry, I just lost my mute button for a moment there. Let's watch the same video again. So yeah, input, process, and output. We'll just go back a slide there. Artificial intelligence operates much like human intelligence when it comes to processing information. So just as our brains use different regions to handle sensory input and decision making, AI systems also receive data through sensors and process it through computer vision and images and speech recognition for sound, and make decisions based on algorithms and models. So while the mechanisms differ, the fundamental principles are quite similar and allowing the AI to be intelligent in its own way. So in Sarah's course up here, sorry, I'm just scrubbing through here. We wanted to kind of outline the difference between human intelligence and artificial intelligence. So, for example, the occipital lobe, when we see something, our brain's occipital lobe will process visual information, and that helps us make sense of what's in front of us. And just like us, AI uses vision systems from its input data to recognize objects, people, and surroundings. And this is how AI-powered cameras and self-driving cars see the road. And similarly, the decision-making and problem-solving aspect of AI, just as our frontal lobe is involved in decision-making, AI systems have algorithms and models that make decisions based on the data that they've received. So I think AI has made significant progress in recent years, but it took a long time to get off the ground because a lot of the things that we took for granted, the fundamentally like different things from sort of natural things that we can do, like seeing and making decisions, we can automatically do as humans. And it's not until recently that we've seen substantial advancements. So a big part of that development was the development of technologies like the computer vision and the input processing. So now that we have all of these computer sensors, we have a lot more data that can go into contributing towards that processing. So an input device is something like a camera or a microphone, temperature sensors, as Sarah was saying. The fitbits are amazing. They can give a ridiculous amount of data on just how your body's going. GPS and biometric sensors, environmental sensors. I've got a smart heating system that will kind of recognize what the weather's like and adapt accordingly. Pressure sensors like barometers and that kind of thing. Light sensors for switching on lights if it's dark out, or proximity as well. Again, we've got some of that stuff, and it's just makes life probably too easy. So I think, yeah, one of the critical elements is that of AI development is that data that it really relies on, and they need huge amounts of data to be able to learn and adapt and make decisions. And it can come from all of these sources, and also the internet provides a huge amount of data as well. So all of that is being input into the AI system. Okay, so once it's got all that data, it needs to figure out how to process it and what decisions need to be made. So there are a lot of different things, and this is really where the nitty-gritty of it is. So we've got neural networks that mimic how the brain works. We've got decision trees, which can be quite complicated. And this is actually where a lot of the work for data scientists and people working in AI is going into. It's not just, you know, making its own rules. There are people who are working behind the scenes who are making decision trees and, you know, putting in those codes and affirming choices and reinforcement learning. Deep learning is kind of more like a complex neural network with many, many layers. So an example for each of these algorithms is kind of like recognizing objects and pictures, or predicting if it will rain tomorrow based on the data like humidity and temperature and wind speed, or teaching a robot to walk or a software agent to play a game, or translating languages in real time and generating art. So there are so many algorithms and to support our machines. So then the output is how we benefit from all these amazing processes and the data that we're putting in. I'm just going to show you some examples. This is the AI wheel, and it will show you 10 different industries that use AI. Oh, first try, love that. But we're going to look at an example of shopping today, because I think most of us have probably engaged in online shopping. So an example of an input for online shopping could be data from a variety of sources. So that could be user data, which holds information about the shopper's preferences and past behavior. It could be the product data that provides details about the items that are available to purchase, like where they are and if they're available in your country. And external data like market trends and reviews or competitor information, and then any contextual information that helps the system understand the user's current situation and needs. So then the process for that, once we've put in all of that data, recommendation algorithms will usually analyze the user and product data to suggest relevant items. So search algorithms can help users find products efficiently, and price tracking ensures customers get the best deals, and chatbots handle customer queries. And yeah, there's many, many examples of those processes ticking away. And then for the output, they're also really, really varied. So there'll be personalized product recommendations. Search results yield efficient product discovery. So you just get, you know, proper suggestions. You know, you're not getting, you know, buy this e-bike out of the blue if you've shown no interest in that in the past. And it just, really enhances personalization and overall user satisfaction, making online shopping more convenient and enjoyable. So across the industries, agriculture is another one of those examples. We've got that whole course, AI drones on it, but that's kind of looking at the visual mapping, indicating its plant soil health and fertilizer and watering needs. And I would recommend jumping in and having a look at these examples. I'm sure off the top of your head, you could probably think of, you know, an example for every industry where AI is starting to be used. But here's just a few simple sort of examples that you can use in the classroom. So to summarize the input, process, output, I will just make that full screen again. The input is about our user data, our product data, external data, and all of that external information. Process is about the recommendation algorithms, the search algorithms, those decision trees and the machine learning. And then the output is that what we get out of it. That's the result. So a voice assistant will capture a human saying, "What's the weather like today?" Automatic speech recognition will convert the spoken words into written text so that the computer can understand it. Natural learning understanding will interpret the written text, and then the voice assistant will fetch the latest weather and information from the internet, and then it will come back and use text to speech to tell us in our output that we understand the weather is sunny and 28 degrees.
Okay, thank you, Katie. Right, so now I've come to the part of the workshop where I'm going to show you a really cool tool that you can add to your sort of teaching kete. So yeah, this is just really great for kids to actually have a play and I think see what's actually possible. Because I think sometimes AI is this kind of, hidden invisible thing that you just, it's like magic, but actually, it's really good for them to understand it's not magic, and they can, they can create their own outcomes. So just to sort of put it all into context for you, AI is a huge field. It's got lots and lots of subfields, like the R is for robotics. So quite often people tend to think of like AI is just robotics, but it's a lot more than that. And as an example earlier, we were talking about the the smart speaker talking to it. So NLP, natural language processing, that's another subset as well. But there's heaps of other subsets of AI, and they all overlap quite a lot. But the one that we're interested in today is machine learning. And this overlaps hugely with data science. Basically, I think sometimes people just think that AI is kind of going off and learning itself and so on. But as Katie mentioned, it does have people behind the scenes. It's lots of, they're always looking for people that are good at maths and good at science, because there's a lot of sort of data sort of cleansing that needs to happen to get these machine learning models working. So yeah. And if you see this word big data, this is a sort of term that's kind of come in the last 10 years or so. Basically, machine learning is only possible because of the fact that there is this huge amount of data. So apparently read some facts up the other day. In the last 13 years, we're producing 16 times as much data per day than we used to. And they reckon even in the next 2 years, that's going to increase by another 150%. So it's just kind of like, wow, there is just so much data out there. So when people sort of talking about big data, yeah, basically you guys are, making data all the time. Just even now we're creating data while we're here. And, every time you click on something, anything that you do is all recorded. And it's, it might seem like not that relevant, but it will be relevant to someone somewhere about like, how many people maybe were at, attending this webinar, or think about the speeds of the internet at the time or something. So yeah, it's a huge one. So yeah, machine learning, the main thing to grasp really is it's not the same as like machine learning is just a bunch of algorithms, which I think sort of Katie showed you on the previous slides. But I guess from our sort of teaching point of view, we're just sort of used to talking about like step-by-step sort of rule-based algorithms. And that's sort of a slight sort of shift that you need to kind of move away from, because we're actually teaching the machine learning is about teaching computers to sort of learn from experience, so to take the data and to sort of and go through what's called a training process to actually learn and make their own decisions and spot patterns. And then another, just so you're sort of familiar and you've got a few takeaway terms with you, deep learning, that's just like another subset of machine learning. And hopefully next year we should have another course out which will sort of teach you a little bit about deep learning. But deep learning is really exciting, and that's really what has been powering a lot of cool things lately, like autonomous cars and medical diagnosis and so on. It's only been possible because of deep learning. So one of the tools that you can use in your classroom to teach machine learning is a tool called Machine Learning for Kids. It's been designed by a chief architect from IBM called Dale Land. He's actually from the UK. And I'm going to just go through and sort of, basically you have to sort of follow a 3-step process. You have to train the model, and you'll need some data to do that. The really cool thing is there's lots of supplied data for you, and I'm going to do cats and dogs today. And then I'll show you how quick and easy it is to train your model. And it's really important to test the model and make sure it's actually working. And then the really cool thing is you can then take your model and actually put it into Scratch and get sort of Scratch to use the model and do things, which is kind of, for me, that was the real excitement that I sort of found from the tool. So if we just come out of the slideshow, I'm just going to close some of these things down. Thank you for all your thoughts on the impacts as well. Those are just some examples that we're going to show, but they're all in the slideshow if you want to take a look later. Okay, so machine learning for kids. There we go. That's the URL. Really great thing about this is you can just click try it now. You don't need to sign up. You can get going with it really, really quickly. I actually have signed up. I had to just create a free IBM cloud account. It was fairly straightforward. And the great thing is it's saving all my models now, and I can sort of work with students as well. So I'd sort of highly recommend that you do that. But equally, if you just want to have a quick play at it, just click try it now. So as I say, I've got a couple of projects saved. What you do go on here as well is got heaps and heaps of worksheets and help and everything. It's a really well-resourced site, so do take some time to go and have a look at that. So these are a couple of models I've made already. We'll talk through those ones in a second, but I'm just going to show you how to quickly make your own model. So if you click copy template, and there's just a heap of data sets in here that you can use. I was just immediately drawn to the cats and dogs one because it's a cute dog on that. So if we click import, now it's going to ask me if I want to save some of the data for testing. I'm not going at the moment just because I'm going to pull some of my own sort of data for testing. But yeah, it's just a really important point. Definitely do some testing. Don't skip this. And you'll see there, it's made me a model. So we click on train. These two areas, they're called buckets, training buckets, and they've both got labels, okay? And we're doing what's an example of what's called supervised learning. And yeah, they basically, you can train the AI model. The AI model sort of guesses if it's a cat or a dog, and then it's told after if it got it right or not, because it can check the label. And then it just sort of learns over time, like the differences between cats and dogs. So yep, this is great. It's all done. You can add new labels as well there if you wanted to add another one. It's really easy as well. You can just click and drag from Google Images and just drag examples on. It's so, like, the image option on here is so cool and quick. So you can actually do models for training images, but also text, which I'll show you in a second, also sounds and numbers. So lots of different data types that you can make models about. Okay, so we've got some data and we need to train the model to do it. It's got 20 examples each. So yeah, you do need a reasonable amount, because if you only have a few, you'll probably find your model won't be very accurate at predicting cats and dogs. So we click here, and this is where all the magic is happening. This is where all the sort of algorithms are running. This is actually happening on an IBM computer called Watson. Just a little bit of trivia for you while we're waiting for that to train. Watson was a computer that actually beat the Jeopardy quiz competitors, and it was one of the sort of the first machines to actually learn all the sort of Jeopardy answers, and then sort of that it was really accurate at predicting them. So my model's been made. You'll see that was amazing, really quick. And yeah, we can test. You can test with a webcam or by drawing, depending on the sort of types of images. So let's have a go at, I am just going to drag a cat from Google Images, and I just drop it off there, and I click test. And I just, yeah, it's not so happy with that cat then. So I thought it was a dog, but it wasn't sure. So yeah, so yeah, as you can see, it's not 100% accurate. So we'll just try another one, just to see if this one's any better. Yes, it's 100% accurate though. So that's the sort of important thing. You can see at the moment our data set probably need to have a sort of a wider variety of cats. And for example, as well, if you go, I'll just drag on Labradors. Me and Katie both got Labradors. We like Labradors. You see straight away it's 100% confident about the dogs, that a Labrador's a dog. Now, if you go back and look here, you'll see, there's quite a lot of, there's even a Labrador, there's quite a lot of big sized dogs. So one of the things I decided to do when I was training it was, testing it, is my sister has a Chihuahua. So I thought, well, we'll try that. And yeah, my sister would be very happy because it thinks a Chihuahua is a cat. Okay, and as you just saw from that training set, all the dogs were, they were quite sort of large dogs. So I think it's really important to talk to your students when you're doing something like this about training data and how, how you just need to make sure you've got a diverse training sort of set of data, because there has been huge issues in the past with, people of color or females not being represented well enough in data sets, and that's had huge societal implications. For example, people being incorrectly arrested because of police systems that haven't been trained well enough, and also just like females being unfairly discriminated because job data has been trained on sort of historical data, perhaps where men were perhaps more likely to be in sort of managerial positions. So yeah, talking about data diversity is extremely important. So we'll just go back to the projects then, and I'll just quickly show you how you can integrate to Scratch. So this one's already been made up. I think I've trained it. Yeah, it was already trained up earlier. So it's got 10 examples of kind statements and 10 examples of mean statements. So if we just go and look at the buckets, so I put these all in myself. So you can have a go at do that and just make up your own ones. And this is an example of sentiment analysis. So quite a lot of AI systems work on analyzing words. So they can rank reviews and things, like say, like if you go on booking.com and you put a review on, or just even for sort of on social networks when they're trying to sort of analyze comments and perhaps remove ones that, are quite toxic. So it's all done. We've got our training data. It's all trained. The model's all ready to go. Now we want to put it into Scratch. So we just click Make. And you can put it in Python and App Inventor, but we're going to stick with Scratch today. And what you'll see is we're going to get a load of new blocks that you wouldn't normally see in Scratch. So these are like sort of Scratch extension blocks. Go into Scratch. This is a slightly different version of Scratch, okay? It's not like the sort of online one, so just in case you think it looks slightly different. So you will have to load up files sort of from a computer, but we do supply you with all of these. And you'll see at the moment, this is a traditional rule-based conditional statement. So if I say, like if I click the green flag and say, you smell, okay, my smiley face isn't very, very happy. But the problem with this is that it's only ever going to work on, I think you're awesome, or you smell, which isn't really very exciting. So what we need to do is integrate the model that we just made. So instead of the word, I think you're awesome, we'll say, well, can you use the kind model? And instead of you smell, can you use all the words that are in the sort of mean bucket? And we'll just move these to over here. And then we've got what we're going to say is, do you recognize the answer? And if you recognize the answer as being something kind, then be happy. And if you recognize it's being mean, then be sad. I hope this will work. Now, so if I say something like, I'm feeling quite smoochy, I'm liking the smileys, I say, I love your black eyes. And there we go, we've made him happy. Okay, and that's, I can put lots of different ones in. So if I'm feeling a bit mean, I might say, you are a yucky shade of yellow. As you can see, yeah, he's a little bit upset by that. Okay, so yeah, it's just really cool. It's a very short sort of Scratch program, but hopefully sort of students can start to sort of see how the applications of that and how they can integrate their models. And as I say, on the site, heaps and heaps of worksheets, heaps and heaps of ideas on there. So definitely do check that out. And we have, I'm not going to go into it now, but just to show you, for Hour of Code, based on this Machine Learning for Kids program, we have made up a 2-hour activity. So that will be available on the Hour of Code site. And it uses the model, and it also integrates the idea of sign language. And you can train your AI model to yeah, to recognize 2 different signs. So that's quite cool. So as I say, that's a 2-hour really detailed lesson plan with sort of teaching slides and so on. Okay. Right, so I'm just going to segue on to the next section, and we've just got one more video for you, and then I'll be passing you over to Katie. So this one's just a little bit about a little sort of thought about how AI may impact the future.
What does the future hold for AI? Advancements in super powerful quantum computers and special AI computer chips will drastically change what AI is capable of and open up possibilities we haven't even imagined. Deep learning technology is making autonomous vehicles more reliable and capable. Self-driving buses, taxis, trucks, and even aircraft will likely become a familiar sight throughout the world, dramatically changing transportation and improving traffic flow. AI can already diagnose many diseases more accurately than human doctors. In the future, it may be able to analyze a person's DNA and rapidly develop custom medications and vaccines. Adaptive educational tools will increase personalized learning to make it more engaging, and offer additional support or extension as the AI learns about the student. This will break down barriers to high-quality education. Language models, like GPT, use natural language processing to analyze and write text, and even code like a human would. This has led to the automation of tasks in many industries, including legal, copywriting, sales, marketing, and computer programming. Improvements in chatbots and virtual assistants will likely build on this automation to add a more human-like touch by offering virtual doctors, teachers, legal assistants, co-creatives, and customer support. This will make services that have been out of reach for many people more accessible, reliable, and cost-effective. In the creative industry, text-to-content generative AI is improving productivity by creating graphics, art, music, and even virtual sets and characters for films and games. In the future, we'll see increasingly complex generated content and even virtual influencers, blurring the lines between what is real and what is not. As AI rapidly evolves, becoming more complex and far-reaching, being able to understand and leverage AI systems will offer a competitive edge to people in many fields. It's hard to predict what it will look like in a few years' time, but it's important for us to ensure AI systems are ethical and trustworthy, because one thing is certain, AI is here to stay.
Yes, so one of the reasons we like the Machine Learning for Kids websites and those worksheets is that, you know, a worksheet isn't just a standard kind of, here's the answers or solve this problem. They are an open-ended project often, and that's how we like to build resources too. So we have a lot of resources on Code Avengers. As Sarah mentioned, we have our Hour of Code offerings that we are putting in there. We've actually submitted quite a few this year. I believe it's a total of 6. So we've got, let's have a look. We've got 2 lesson plans that implement that machine learning for kids that Sarah's shared with you. We've got 3 courses, the Silicon Synapses, which is brand new, AI Drone, which is an older one, but very relevant, particularly for our sort of more rural kids, and Keyboard Quest, which is a junior hardware and software, basic digital literacy, good starting place, not just for young students, but for adults as well. So our interface is really easy to navigate. I'm going to show you a couple of examples today. Before I do, I will just show you also some of our, unit plans. So we're constantly expanding our collection of resources to assist teachers. We currently have 13 unit plans from year 1 to year 9, all spanning 8 to 12 hours. So our lesson plans offer thorough coverage, incorporate connections between different subjects. So that really allows for holistic and applicable learning experiences. So to access these resources, all you have to do is log into Code Avengers using your teacher account, and you can click on to lesson plans, and you can see that they're categorized by grade. Just after this slide, there is a video. I won't play it now, but we will show you the slide deck at the end, and if you want to go in and learn how to access the lesson plans, then you can have a look through at everything that we have available. And honestly, whether you have, years of experience as an educator or you're just starting out, they're really easy to use lesson plans, and they provide quite an immersive and digital, captivating sort of digital technology experience. We love incorporating unplugged activities so that we can kind of conquer some of those less concrete, bigger ideas. And yeah, it's just, we've really loved developing them, and we would love for you to use them.
To make life easier for teachers.
That's rather loud. All right, I'm going to give you a quick tour of our platform before we get into our questions. So we've got an extensive course library, and it's a treasure trove of materials. So there's student self-paced courses on there that can be done within a number of hours, or you can break those up and use the supporting teacher resources. I'll just come out of there a wee bit. Whoops. So this is our course library. I'm glad we're sharing Sarah's, because you can see how many she's done in here instead of mine. So one of the things that we wanted to do is make sure that we have relatable characters. We have a really diverse cast from people from all over the world, and they're sort of your companions who progress alongside your students. And we've designed them to be inclusive and represent different genders, and it kind of gives them a sense of interactivity into their learning. One of the other things is interactive widgets. It's not just passive. I think one of the big problems is that a lot of technology today is passive. So with using our interactive widgets, students are engaged and have to use their brains. And it just makes learning a bit fun and interactive. So here we have a dot-to-dot sort of activity. This one is to do with Matariki. You might have seen it last time. We did a TENS webinar. So we're just learning about constellations in this one. So we also have scaffolded learning. I'm not actually sure that that's this one, but one of the other things is that we've got authentic contexts. We try to, use different languages, and in this case, we use a lot of Te Reo Māori. And it's not just a learning experience, but an immersive journey. So it delves into Māori myths and terminologies and cultural significance, and gives us a bit of a deeper understanding of, computational thinking within a relevant setting, definitely for our New Zealand learners. This was probably where I wanted to show you. We've got hints. So that means that it's scaffolded, and if students get stuck, they don't need that one-to-one support from teachers. They should be able to self-pace them and go through. And as a teacher, you're able to see data from that for students who have needed to use the hints as well. We also have videos, as you've seen a couple today, just to change things up. There's a little bit of that. It kind of brings into it a little bit bit of fun, but also it kind of avoids any of those literacy barriers as well. And speaking of that, all of our text has audio that will play automatically. We've put it on mute today because I'm talking, but yeah, just so that everyone can access it. We have audio that will read everything out. So yeah, those are a few examples, but there's heaps and heaps available. If I just pop back to here. What's awesome is that we have these free resources throughout term 4. You can jump in and use it for the rest of the term, which I know for a lot of people, term 4, that would be a bit of a relief. So sign up, jump in there. It'll give you unrestricted access to our entire course library at no cost. And it's a great opportunity to make it even easier for you to explore such a wide range of educational materials and just enhance your curriculum, whether you are a DT teacher or you're a primary school teacher trying to integrate technology into your daily classroom. We love integrating as many numeracy and literacy links as possible to make it easy to build into your classroom. Again, like I said, you can click on these links. We'll share the slideshow for you. The last thing I wanted to talk about, because we're really excited about it at the moment, we do also offer code camps. We've just developed a code camp in a box resource where you're able to put together, if you're doing a holiday workshop or something, then you can have a full day of resources to go through. So I would recommend watching, this is a video from, oh, the name's gone from my head, but I'm pretty sure it's Clayton Park. So I definitely recommend having a watch of that video too. Oops, not now. Yes, Clayton Park, nailed it. Yes, so we have our professional development team as well who can come and support you in your classrooms. They are very friendly, and you can apply for funding for them to come in, and I absolutely recommend reaching out to them to help you apply for that funding. Right, I will stop sharing and I think we'll do some questions now. Actually, I will, there we go, perfect.
So we've got one question in the chat, if anyone else has any other questions. So if you'd like to address the one question we've got in the Q&A. Can you see that, Katie and Sarah?
Is it?
So this question, this presentation is really helpful for giving us as teachers and parents a better understanding of what AI is and all the different facets that make up AI. In terms of the curriculum, I understand this is a new and emerging technology, but wondering whether we would be better off using AI context lens for 3DO, or if there are any aspects of AI we could teach to also meet the computational thinking.
I think really, yeah, because the way the sort of standards are currently written, that they you know, for computational thinking, they are very much around rule-based sort of algorithms, which is kind of why we went more down the DDO track, really, because it just offers that a little bit more flexibility. Yeah, and that's sort of why I sort of tried to show you like an actual outcome that you could, you know, the students could develop. So I'd say at the moment, unless the sort of computational thinking progress outcomes change, I would be leaning more towards developing an outcome, I think, for AI.
Brilliant.
Do you want to add anything, Katie?
I would also say that computational thinking, you know, it is quite broad, so you are kind of able to quietly segue it in. I was thinking when you were doing the training of data, that might be a really nice way to kind of look at some of those things, like persevering. You know, someone might put something in and go, it told me it was a dog, or and then give up. So that would be a really good teaching opportunity to kind of look at some of those, you know, like how can we decompose this and break down the problem, and how can we, like debug this basically. But definitely what Sarah was saying, like it is very outcomes based. So yeah, you can definitely weave them in, but it's a little less poignant, or a little less targeted.
Maybe just adding on to what Katie was sort of saying about, you know, the kind of decomposition skills, some of the just more general computational thinking skills like pattern recognition. It's like it's probably good to unpack that with students and get them to do some pattern recognition puzzles and things, just so they can start to get the idea of looking for features, and you know, because that's essentially what you know, AI models are doing. Yeah.
Great.
Someone
Thank
just asked.
you.
Oh, sorry.
Yes, so there's 2 more questions if you would like to answer one or other. So the first one is, are we able to get access to the slides? Now the webinar will be, is being recorded, and it will be loaded on the TENS YouTube channel. So I'm not sure if they would like more than that, but everything that you have shown and presented will be available. And
yes, we have shared a link with the TENS people. I'll just put it into the chat too, so that if you wanted to jump into it now, then that's available. I think Caitlin will be able to put that in for everyone there.
thank you for sharing that, Katie. And the next one's from Christine, and she was wondering how your resources can work with Tomato Ho. So that's the Māori curriculum, Māori medium curriculum.
I believe it's the refreshed New Zealand curriculum, like the recent changes that have been made.
Yes, yeah.
So, but yeah, Sarah, were you going to say something?
No, just I guess, you know, there's a lot more sort of focus around people, and like being aware of people's customs and traditions and so on. And I mean, I sort of made that point earlier about, you know, the training data, just that it's really important to making sure that that you're training these models, you know, on involving, have a diverse set of data involving lots of people really. And just, I guess, just showing the importance that, you know, it's really important that we get lots of different people trained up, because these AI systems are going to affect us all, and it's really important to have everyone's perspectives, you know, when they are being built. But yeah, I'm not sure if the questions, when it sort of says our resources, and when we do have heaps of resources, I'm not quite sure with that question if she's focusing on what particular part of the curriculum refresh she was talking about, because if she's,
So I
possibly if
guess
it's a little bit more around the senior space, maybe if she could just give a little bit more context, we might be able to give a more detailed answer, follow up with a more detailed answer.
okay, that'd be great. I mean, I guess there's so many changes coming up that we don't fully know exactly how things are going to play out in the next little while. But have you been able to stay abreast of the whisperings of how things are going to play out, in which case be able to adapt your resources to ensure that they're current for any changes that are going to occur?
Yeah, we do keep up to date with things that are happening, and
Right.
Yeah, we're very lucky one of our team members is involved in that, so we get a little bit of a
Right.
glimpse into the future.
Right, right.
So we're sort of, you know, we're always continually revisiting our resources and updating them.
Excellent. Has anyone got any other questions that you'd like? Just chuck them in the chat, the question answers. Okay. So what I'd like to do is thank you both for coming today. It's really important for us to get any feedback from you as the viewers. So please, if you could just scan this and give us feedback, and Sarah and Katie would also appreciate feedback for them. I know when you're teaching it's so easy, you know whether you've got it all right or not because of the faces and the outputs your students make. It's so quick, but with adult education it's nowhere near as easy, and certainly in the webinar format. So if you've got any feedback, please pass it on. We'd really appreciate it. Next month we've got Ben Knight coming to talk to us, so we would really hope that you're able to join our webinar because he's talking about Litter Intelligence Education Program. So I would like to thank you, Katie and Sarah. Have you got anything else you'd like to say before we close?
No, thank you so much for having us. It's been really fun, as always.
Yep. Just, yeah, thank you. Thank you everyone's joined us, and just, yeah, I know it may seem a little bit scary. It's a new topic, but just yeah, just go and give it a go. You know, it's getting towards the end of the year. I think anything goes. So, yep.
Excellent. We'll just do closing karakia. Kia mātou katoa, kua mutu mātou, e mātou mahi. Ke kaupapa hoki, ahe ne mātou, ka a mātou mahi anō. Kia whakataupu mātou ki ngā kaupapa me ngā mea e whakapono. Akitia mai mātou. Kia ora, everyone. Thank you so much for attending, and we look forward to seeing you again at the next Wednesday webinar. Ka kite.